Hello, everyone. Today we have with us Aloka Dasgupta Niyogi, who is an educationist, social entrepreneur, and founder of the Literary Table, a platform dedicated to nurturing literature and reading culture. Her debut novel, Inheritors of Silence, explores the enduring emotional and psychological impact of the 1947 partition across four generations, focusing on memory, identity, and what she calls silent hollows passed down within families. So I welcome you here, Aloka.
Thank you.
So I have a few questions for you. I want to know the book uses a dream to prompt Anurima's journey. What is the symbolic significance of this dream and how effective is it as a device for driving the plot?
Okay. Yeah, I did it was in 1991. Dream, I actually was a catalyst. And Anurama dreamt about it in the year 1991, as I wrote in the book. Symbolically, the dream represents the ancestors one last time who were trying to reach out to Anurima. It suggests that while her elders chose silence to survive this trauma and love for the homeland
Mhm.
remain alive in the family's subconscious. Thus, the dream acts as a psychic bridge, I would say, that collapses the distance between 1947 and the present day, I would say. It suggests that the forgotten homeland is not dead, just waiting to be acknowledged.
Okay, so this dream basically represent some unresolved memories calling the next generation. If
Absolutely, you got it.
get
Yes.
it right. Yes. Okay. All right. So the weight of silence, the title, it mentions silence. In what ways do the characters remain silent about their past? Aloka.
Okay. I titled the book this way because the silence is often the only thing that the generation, the refugees, they were refugees when they came over
Mhm.
from East Bengal, or rather that time it was East Pakistan, to India. Uh, could they could afford to carry. The older generations remain silent, not to forget but to protect. That's what they did. They protected it by not telling the next generation what they went through, but it came out slowly during Anurima's journey and when she was questioning her aunt, Mihir Kumari, her Rangapishi, she called her.
So it's if again I'm able to understand it correctly, it's silence around loss, trauma, and displacement.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, okay, all right. And Aloka, does this silence protect the younger generations or does it just hinder their understanding of identity?
For the younger generation, like Anurima, she was the fourth,
Mhm.
yeah, or I mean, like this silence creates a hollow in their identity. It's a silent heirloom that weighs down, it weighs them down rather, because they don't know the full story of where they came from. It's just stories they would be hearing, but they really didn't know from where, what were their roots. So initially it was something, a fairy tale, a fairy land for them, when they would hear a little bit about their homeland, and they would think that we are Indians, we're born in India. So why this homeland, and why this craze for homeland? What is it actually? So it was very intriguing for the protagonist Anurima.
Uh, Intriguing, and do you think at the same time it creates emotional confusion too?
Oh,
Is
lot
that
of it. Yes, lot of it.
yes.
Absolutely, a lot of emotional, yes, confusion, because really didn't know, like they were from where. I mean, they thought that, I mean, at least Anurima thought her homeland was India.
Yes.
But she was, time and again, she was being told by her ancestors, her aunts, etc., and her grandma that no, their roots are actually from, a distant land, which was cut away, which was partitioned off. So it was very intriguing for them. An emotional burden, yes. I think Anurima carried an emotional burden till she could, dig into it and find out literally what was it when she does at the end of the novel.
Right. Okay. So maybe, she got intrigued and confused in equal measures.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So the forgotten homeland, how does this idea of home change between the first and fourth generations? How does the idea of home change?
So for the first generation, it was a physical wound. For the fourth, it is a spiritual longing, I would say. By calling it forgotten, I'm challenging the reader to realize that as long as the stories, even the silent ones, the homeland is, I mean, what should I say, is news, is, I mean, like, it's never truly gone. It's just shifts from a map to the heart.
Or would you say homeland, it becomes symbolic?
Symbolic, yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay. So is a homeland defined by a physical place or by stories passed down through families?
Um, the forgotten homeland, to me, this homeland, I think, lived in stories,
Mhm.
like I said, like a fairy tale, till Anurima, the protagonist, visited the land which she grew up hearing about.
Okay, so um, here, homeland, it survives through narration.
Yes, actually, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Through narration,
Well,
yes.
I'm
We were
equally
like, I mean,
intrigued.
of course, not only narration, I would say photographs. We did see a lot of photographs because uh, as an author, yes, um, I had to experience a lot of it before I could pen it down. So this novel is actually a blend of facts with fiction. Because facts had to be there. Otherwise, how do I,
Really understandable.
how do I create a fiction out of it? So the facts were
Absolutely.
already there. And as a child, I used to hear all these stories. So when I grew up, I would think that I am going to write, yes, I'm going to pen it down, but how? So in my author wrote, I mean, in my author note, I wrote there. If you happen to read that, you'll find out. The readers will find out that I had to go there to the homeland, yes, and which is now Bangladesh, and literally go around digging my roots, which I did. And it was so interesting that I couldn't help but pen it down. Yes, for the readers. And I'm finding whoever is reading it is finding it really intriguing and very, very interesting because
Very
it
interesting
is,
about. Yes. So
yeah.
it's
And
just not
one more thing I would like to add here, see, the whole of India did not experience this partition. It was the
yeah,
Punjab and the Bengal. Right. So
primarily, yes.
when people are uh, uh, other states of India, when they hear about it, they said, "Oh, wow, is it? It happened. This happened. But this happened. Yes, they had to go through traumatic situations, lost everything. From Anurama's case, it was riches to rags, sort of a story. Though they made their own lives because they studied, they were educated, so they were able to stand through, go through this partition, but many couldn't. They had to, start from scrap.
True. Stories replace geography sometimes.
Absolutely.
Okay. So you,
Understand.
yeah, you describe memories as silent or loom. How do they shape her decision? I mean, Arunima's decisions and sense of self.
Okay. I wanted to show that even in the middle of modern struggles,
Mhm.
marriage and motherhood, there is an ancestral pull. Anurima isn't just looking for a home in Bangladesh. She was looking for the matured version of herself, that understands her roots. Her personal battles are the modern echoes of her ancestors' survival. That was also there. So it was a mixed. But as she was growing up, she had her own personal battles too to face. So when that was she was going through that, she would think each time she needed to dig into her roots. Why is she going through what she was going through, the trauma of motherhood, marriage, everything? It wasn't very easy for her. I mean, so later on in the end, I think I wrote that, any life for an individual, it doesn't, if it doesn't go through pain, it doesn't get the gain. No pain, no gain. So there had to be Anurima experienced a lot of pain to get the gain, which she did in the end. But I shall not disclose that. Yeah, I think you can
Absolutely.
read
And I
this.
think most of us would relate with this,
Yes,
identity formed subconsciously.
very true. Very, very true.
Yeah. So, how does the sharp cleave of 1947 continue to affect the family decades later, Aloka?
Okay. See, I portray partition as a sharp cleave. Okay. That never,
Psychological trauma, maybe?
yeah, the trauma, yes, yes. So it's a sharp cleave that never quite healed for these people who were faced to, for these refugees who were faced to vacate their land, their property, their everything, and come over, penniless to India. So it didn't just divide the land, it divided the soul of a family. Even decades later, the family's habits, fears, and silence are all shaped by that one historical moment in 1947.
Right. So it's fear, displacement, repeat in new forms.
Absolutely.
Okay. Aluka, which books or kinds of literature inspired you to write your debut novel?
Yeah. Yeah. It was, initially many years ago, I think it was before, I don't remember the exact year, but in the 20th century, late 20th century, it was after reading Jhumpa Lahiri's Interpreter of Melodies. I could connect with the short stories, all based in Bengal. Uh, and when I was reading it, I said, "Hey, I too have stories to tell the world. I better, pen it down." But then, being a science student from a management background, I would think, "Hey, I don't know whether I would be able to ultimately." That was the first initiation of thought of penning down a novel. And then there was in I think 1991, Arundhati Roy's book, The God of Small Things. That yes, that got the Booker, which was a huge inspiration for me. When I read that, I said, I have a similar story, but a little, absolutely different plot. But I could write. And then there was Amitabh Ghosh's The Glass Palace. After I read The Glass Palace, it was on partition. Okay. Then when I was reading that, I knew that I had lots to tell the world. I mean, I had lots and lots of stories. So I was thinking, I definitely need to do it. And that was when I started, of course, Glass Palace, I read just about, say, 6, 7 years ago. That triggered the actual, I would say the triggering point was that. And I started to, write some job chapters one by one. Yes.
Wow, that's absolutely thrilling, stories where history or events or memories meets personal lives.
Absolutely.
Okay, was writing a novel an idea you carried from your growing up years, or it just happened when you read all those readers, authors? So how did it just happen?
While I always loved literature, okay, the specific mission to write this novel came much later, as I realized that my generation is the last living link to these memories. The idea I harbored during my growing up years was more of a curiosity about my roots. Going through life's ups and downs, I realized I had a story to tell the world, you know. integrating the present with the past, and also realize that the stories which I grew up hearing, if I didn't write these stories, they may be lost to the silence forever. That's what actually, instigated
I,
me rather.
I,
It was a
I,
push.
I agree with you here. Life always, life experiences, they always shape expressions, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's life. It's life, all about life. Sometimes we are able to express it, but most of the times, most people rather would,
They,
subdue it, to just push it down their gullet and say, hey, no, I cannot, express it. No, because it needs a lot of guts to write a story. Because you must have read the recent Arundhati Roy's memoir. She has expressed certain things which, if you don't have guts, you cannot express it to the wide world in a book, in a printed form. And the same thing I have also expressed many places. Yes. So people, when they read it, they were saying that you must have realized that it needed guts. But when
to,
it needs guts, by the author, I guess really good stuff come out. I would say people enjoy reading that. Yes.
true, absolutely. And with this, I also want to understand, Aloka, that what do you hope readers ultimately, they take away from the legacy of the partition trauma?
Ah, for the partition trauma. Okay, that they're very lucky that they didn't have to face something like that. It was just the COVID they faced, and they were really traumatized by COVID. Okay, but the partition was, they lost many things. Yes, COVID lost lives. Yes, absolutely, maybe that. But the partition story gives, I think, hope to the reader that things can, even if you lose everything, you can, stabilize it. You can, the life doesn't stop there. Life goes on. But that's just that you need something from inside, that guts, that feeling. Yes, I can go, not just break down. No, the partition story really, I think, teaches the reader that yes, life is all about, it's not about all about, I think, like you say, life is, you have to go through thorns to reach a rose. So if you go through trauma, that's a thorn, you do get the rose. So life is not just a
Yes.
bed of roses.
Yes, you're right. Trauma, one thing which I have personally experienced is that trauma doesn't end with one generation, and remembering certainly is a part of healing.
Absolutely. And it remains, it gets transported, like I remember when I was in Bangladesh, when I was talking to everybody, I was very intrigued that each and every individual there, even when a boy of say 25, 30-year old, he even knew the story of his fathers and forefathers. It just got carried, maybe they do it more in Bangladesh, it just got carried down. So
Yes.
that was very interesting because it actually, yeah, it's very, I mean, people, when I saw things there, and when I was also talking about my grandfather, they remembered him. I said, how do you remember? You're even much younger, the fifth generation. Said, passed down from my father and grandfather. So that's very interesting.
Indeed, it is very interesting. And with this, I thank you, Dr. Niyogi, for helping us understand how history lives on through memory and silence. And your words remind us that listening to the past is often the first step towards healing and belonging.
Very true. It's healing and belonging. Yes. And should I just I would like to say something to the students, the younger generation, who have really stopped reading, I would say. I do not know why, but this has happened because of maybe social media and, a quick look into the social media or reading through on your mobile. No, it's not the correct way. The children should know that, because if you just read through, it's a It's a trigger of the dopamine, I would say. But if you read a book, it remains with you. You travel the world with you, with the book. That's what we did when we were young. We didn't go anywhere, but we knew the culture of the world, reading books. It's an eye opener for everybody, for the children especially. So if children read books, I just find that nowadays, of course, it's been everywhere, all through the globe. I would say globally, it's a phenomena which is not good. Children are not reading. Okay, and they think that, oh, sit down with a book, spend so many hours, and the parents think that uh, jolly well read your textbooks rather than your storybooks. But storybooks open the vistas of one's mind, the child's mind. That's how we grew up. Everyone grows up, but this generation is constipated. The
Yes.
parents are also, I guess, I don't know, but a little, yes, they bend towards um, let the children not read books. But when we were young, we would read a storybook hidden inside our lab books or inside our any other subject books. I don't know whether you've done that, but we used to do that because parents wouldn't like us to read, because there was an exam in front or whatever, but we did that. So
No,
that should be.
absolutely. What you said is absolutely correct. And reading, I think it builds imagination, uh,
Yes.
empathy also, and the ability to think independently. And I think this is no less than a skill which no exam alone can teach.
True, as you said rightly, empathy. Nowadays there's emotional intelligence, that is the EQ. EQ is a thing which is very, very important, which is lacking in today's generation, the empathy part. So,
Either it is lacking or it is too much.
or it is too much.
Yeah.
Very true. Absolutely, I agree with you. So that's where books come in. You learn how to empathize, you learn how to sympathize. It's a beautiful thing. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. Yes. You're supposed to not feel jealous, envious of somebody doing something good, but learn. But
Uh,
that we did through books, yes. I think this is a takeaway for a student. I mean, in college, school, everywhere. Don't you
and
think
I
so?
think for all of those who are not reading yet, for them too, this is a takeaway.
Absolutely. Who are not reading it, yes. And those who read, okay, fine. I mean, for them, it's
They're honing their reading skills then.
yeah, honing your reading skills. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So that's one thing. I don't know. I mean, such is life. Such is life. But we are there to at least give them the what should I say, the boost,
The boost, yes,
encouragement.
yes.
That is very, very important. Yes, absolutely.
Yes, all right. It was wonderful talking to you and understanding the essence of the characters and the theme. It was wonderful, wonderful. Thanks a lot for
Thank you so much. Bye. Bye.
thanks a ton.